Community Forum is sponsored by the Easton Grange 196 and a friend of Yardley Wood Rink and the Easton Lions Club.
There's a storm across the valley, the clouds are rolling in. The afternoon is heavy on your shoulders. There's a truck out on the 4-lane, a mile or more away. The whining of his wheels just makes it colder.
Welcome to Community Forum. Today is September 6, 2023. I'm Priscilla Almquist-Olsen, your host, and I have two very interesting guests today. I have Pastor John Polk, whom you have met before, pastor of Holy Trinity Lutheran Church here in Easton on Lincoln Street, and Madeline Champagne, who is a very active woman from, I'm wearing my butterfly t-shirt to honor her because she raises butterflies, and that's another story. But it has to do with her peace-loving nature and the mission that she's on. So welcome, Madeline. Welcome, Pastor.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So I have met Madeline because she helped Rita Corey, our director of music, create a pollinator garden at our church, and educated some of us about that. But this is something different, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. It certainly is. Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to tell us a little bit about, and it's called Gun Tragedies Memorial Stones 2023. And this is a labor of love and obviously lots of arduous work.
Love, devotion, compassion. Yeah, yeah. Just a little background, you did mention butterflies, and for over 30 years I've been raising mostly monarchs, but other butterflies also. I find the eggs and caterpillars in the wild. They're released in the wild. And I do a lot of schools, a lot of organizations, a lot of individuals, young people, old people, anybody who will listen. Yeah. And what I got from doing this is that the personal experience is very important. You can watch videos, you can read books, you can just see a lot of information, but to actually look at a monarch egg, which is the size of a celery seed, watch the caterpillar as it comes out and grows and eventually becomes a butterfly, I believe changes how people look at the world. So the personal experience, last spring I was at a Everytown for Gun Safety rally, and I heard a woman speak, and she was associated with a mass shooting in San Francisco 30 years ago, and she still suffers trauma from it. It turns out she was not at the shooting, it was her mentor and his client. And one of the worst parts about mass shooting is the randomness. She happened to be on vacation that day. So had she not been on vacation, she probably would have been in the office. Her mentor and his client were sitting with their backs to the aisle. If they had been sitting the other way, they probably would not have been shot. So the randomness really, really hit me. People leave their homes and maybe not come back, or if they come back injured, they're traumatic, maybe the rest of their lives. So mass shootings is a serious thing, and people hear numbers, but the numbers themselves don't tell the whole story. So I started this project a little bit because a little while ago I started painting rocks, and I put flowers on them and I give them away to people, and people smile. And I got the idea of doing this. I happened to find a place where I could get these rounded beach stones. And so I have been inscribing them with the date, the city, town, and state. And then I have symbols for people who were injured, which is a heart, and people who are killed, which is the black ribbon.
And so you have created how many stones?
As of today, I have created 484 stones. It turns out, if I string them out, it takes about 10 stones to make up a yard. So I'm almost up to half a football field strung out.
My goodness. Pastor Polk, you have given Madeline an opportunity to inaugurate these stones. And it's because we're very concerned about the victims of gun violence, and also because we have a labyrinth. Madeline, you want to hold that picture up?
Yes, I did do a basic setup to show the labyrinth, and it's going to be an absolutely beautiful installation. It's a very large labyrinth, and we're going to have to work on how to set it up and everything, but it's very impressive.
So, Pastor, how did this come about that you offered the inaugural ceremony or the inaugural unveiling of these stones to Madeline?
Thank you. We are delighted to be the host, and that's really what we are. We're delighted to be the hosts. As you mentioned earlier, Madeline's friend Rita is our director of music, and they both came to me with this wonderful and sobering idea to honor and memorialize all those who have been killed and injured. So we are delighted. I believe that Madeline is an inspiration. She's inspiring to be with. She's inspiring because of the work that she has done for us. And I truly believe that this is a wonderful opportunity for our community to come together and to practice love in action rather than hate and violence. I'd like to share with you a quotation from Martin Luther King Jr. I often in my preaching and teaching refer to what Martin Luther King Jr. referred to often as the beloved community. Listen to this quote, and this is what's inspiring about Madeline. When you see something that is not right, you must say something. You must do something. Each of us must do our part to help build the beloved community. And I am so grateful that you are seeing something, you're doing something, and you're helping us to create the beloved community together here in Easton.
So what is the date and where?
The date is Sunday, September 24th. Our worship service begins at 9:45, and at the end of that worship service, around 10:30, we'll be engaged in a ritual of bringing each and every stone from the sanctuary outside to the labyrinth. And everybody is welcome to come either at the beginning of the worship service at 9:45, or feel free to come around 10:30 to help us in that sacred ritual of bringing the stones out and placing them around the labyrinth.
And how long will those stones be on display in the labyrinth for the public to view?
2 weeks. We will be displaying them for 2 weeks. We're getting the word out through various media outlets. You're welcome to stop by. The labyrinth is at the front of the church. You can see it from Lincoln Street. So feel free to park in our parking lot and spend as much time as you'd like in that beautiful, peaceful place with the stones to remember and to honor those who have been killed and injured.
And actually, the 24th of September is only 18 days from today. And Madeline, we just talked about this earlier. Do you anticipate more stones that have to be painted, that during this 18-day period there'll be more mass shootings?
Oh, definitely. In fact, I looked at numbers last night, and then some more were posted today. So we're up to about 485 mass shootings in America, across the country this year, 2023.
Since January 1st.
And mass shootings are defined as 4 or more victims. Would you also mention, Madeline, the source of the statistics? I think that's important for people.
Yes,
to know.
I get this data from Gun Violence Archive, which puts together information about every mass shooting. Sometimes it has, you can kind of go through it and you can see names and ages. Often it doesn't have that, but it lists the killings and the injuries. And right now, the 485 516 killings and 2,039 injuries.
Oh, that is so
It's
incredible.
And I would say I inscribe maybe 10 stones a week. And one thing.
It also averages out to about one shooting every 12 hours.
About every 12 hours, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And and behind that, things that are not called mass shootings, where there's 1, 2, or 3 people injured or killed, is a great, great number.
And I know you don't want to talk about this, but I would like to mention it. It's such an obvious conclusion to this discussion that we need to get guns out of the hands of mentally challenged people, and also the assault weapons, which are military war weapons and so forth. So that is not something that you're going to be talking about on Sunday the 24th. This is a day to mourn, to grieve, and to honor. Is it not?
Yes, it is, for sure.
And it's a day to come together and to love one another, to actually be together physically in a place of honor and memory, but to actually practice the art of loving one another rather than hating and killing and maiming people.
So those of you who are watching who believe in the power of love and coming together as a people, consider coming to the church service at 9:45 or come at 10:30 on September 24th, Sunday, and walk the labyrinth and look at these stones. I'm going to take one right here, and it's August 27th. How many days ago is that? I mean, that's last week. And it's Pueblo, Colorado, 1 death and 3 injured. So you were really up to date, and it's so sad. Here's another one. Mansfield, Ohio, on the very same day, 1 death, 3 injured. So what is so surprising that most of us probably don't realize is that this is not just 1 a day. It can be 2 a day. It can be 3 a day. There can be 10 victims, 20 victims, or just 1 victim. And so please come together and show your love and support and honor and memorialize the people who have given their lives, as Madeline says, randomly, and the injured who are recovering. And as you mentioned, the friend that you met, 30 years have passed since she was part of a mass shooting, but the trauma still stays. So if you know somebody who's participated, been part of a mass shooting, treat them kindly and with love, and know that they still are suffering. So I want to thank you both for coming. Any parting words?
Thank you for having us, and I hope that a lot of people will come and honor the deaths and the injuries that are continuing.
And also to see the actual places, the actual numbers of victims. Mm-hmm. It's just amazing, and it covers the entire country.
Yes, I will say that so far this year there have been 5 mass shootings in Massachusetts. And sometimes we hear it on the news, sometimes not. There was recently one in Lynn, 2 killed, 5 injured. So it's happening here.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to thank you, Madeline, for inspiring us and for bringing us together. Thank you.
And thank you for watching. This is Priscilla Almquist-Olsen bidding you farewell. Until next time, be well.
Community Forum is sponsored by the Easton Grange 196 and a friend of Yardley Wood Rink and the Easton Lions Club.